having more fun than we are right now.
Nobody.
This is great. It's so great to get to see all these people sweating.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's
but your lipstick looks amazing.
Thank you so much. Kind of like my brand. So,
it is your brand. So we're here to talk about being real, and the title of this is You Can't Fake Brand Love.
Love it.
Nobody gets realer than you. I mean, wearing a bathing suit and heels, walking down a runway, I mean, it's about as real as you get. What gives you that ability to be so damn, own it? How do you do that?
I think it's the people that I'm around. It's my teammates, it's my sisters who make me feel so, accepted and good about myself. It also takes some self-work, to realize that. But I really believe it's like the women that I spend my time with.
Yeah, you have 2 sisters.
Yep, 2 girls.
And I love that podcast.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell the crowd a little bit about that podcast?
So my sister and I have a podcast called House of Maher, and it's us just talking about, honestly, probably nothing too important, you know what I'm saying? But it's fun. And it's just been us getting kind of what we do on FaceTime, doing it so for everyone else to listen. And people love that. I think people want to be of the 4th Maher sister, so we're giving them a little bit to finally get that role.
Oh, I know I do. You guys look like you're having fun all the time. So let's talk about brand partnerships. Most of them are, brand will give you a scripted brief and it doesn't feel real. Why does it matter that you have the opportunity to tell the brand, do it this way, not that way?
Yeah, I think that it's interesting how marketing is going and how, it used to be such an ad, you need to hit all these points, but I think influencers especially know their brand, know who they're trying to reach, so giving them that freedom, because it's so interesting what hits with audiences. It can be the funniest 7-second video, or it can be, the minute-and-a-half video, but we know our audiences and we can really show our personality through, so I love it when I'm given more of the freedom to promote a product that I like, because I'll be able to say it in such a real, authentic way. And I think my followers can really tell that when I am being truthful about it.
Of course. I mean, everybody knows when it's BS, right? It's so clear. But you are here. You're going to be talking with the team from Maybelline in a minute. And look, I'm wearing lipstick because she made me. I've already been influenced.
This is the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink, and once you put that on, it will be on. So I was like, if you're going for it, you're wearing this the rest of the day.
I signed a release. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
But what made you decide that you could go from, being a world-class athlete to talking about beauty? That's not an easy leap.
Well, I never wanted to be just a rugby player, because for some of you who don't know, rugby is not the biggest sport in the world. So it's a very niche audience and niche number of fans. And so I felt like I'd be selling myself short by just being known as a rugby player in this, in the world. So I wanted to do more. I think that sometimes as rugby players, as female athletes, we're also put in a box of, told you're manly, you're masculine, you're too much this and that. And I just didn't like that. That's how we are being perceived, even though I never felt that way. So for me, makeup, I wear lipstick when I play rugby, because it was kind of more of an FU to those who want to put a standard on us, and I look pretty. So I actually forgot the question, but that's what I'll say about that. I start rambling sometimes, guys, if I'm being honest.
No, you're being real, because you really wanted to do it, and you didn't give a shit what anybody else was telling you to do.
Not me.
I mean, that's definitely not you. But let's talk about why that matters for your community. What do we call, do you have a squad name, Ilona fans? What are they? Do we have a name? We need one.
So my name's Ilona, so sometimes you can get loner out of it, so the loners, but we'll workshop it. I haven't thought about it too much.
But there is the thing called the Ilona Maher effect, which I love.
Yes.
So how can you describe what that is and why your fans love you so much?
The Ilona Maher effect. I mean, it was cool to see. I went and played rugby in England, and
we have a few
British
Brits.
people here. We got some English here. And it was cool to see, for my first game, we moved to a bigger stadium. But I think just through the power of social media and what I've been able to do with my brand, more people are taking notice of not just me, but my team and my sport. So I like that the Ilona Maher effect isn't just trickling down for advantage for me, but for those around me and for the better of, rugby in general.
Because you really care. It doesn't look like it's just for the purpose of showboating. It looks like you really do care. And that's hard to fake.
Thank you.
But your community believes you, and I think that's part of the benefits of when a brand is working with you. It's obviously you're famous, you have millions of followers, but if your community sees you promoting something, they know that you really buy the product,
Yeah.
that you really love it. That is core, and it's not just for celebrities, it's for people who are regular creators who are all floating around here today.
Yeah.
How do you help a brand really see that that's the part that they should be paying attention to?
To authentically loving it?
Yeah.
I think that, like we were saying, I mean, people can tell when you're not genuinely don't like a product, when you're not authentically promoting it. And I watched some of the videos and I was like, I don't know if she's actually using that stuff. But I just think that we're flooded with so much information and people are so inundated with like people and how they're perceived, how they are. So I really think people can genuinely tell that. And so I think being authentic with the brands that you choose, you can just promote it so much better.
Right.
And also for the creators though, choosing, you have to, like the money always looks good in choosing it, but there will be more brands coming along, better deals where you can actually promote something really authentically and keeping your brand kind of, not like picky, but you know, yourself.
But it's also for the brands, they shouldn't just partner with any old creator. They should find someone that loves the brand organically and has a real affinity for it. I mean, you're not, I don't know what you wouldn't do, maybe cigarettes or something, but I don't know.
I mean, sometimes in the south of France, I do feel like it'd be cool to smoke.
In a bathing suit?
But I don't know if that's
in heels?
In a bathing suit, I don't know, with a wine in my hand. You know, like I can see it. I don't think I'd promote it, but I could see it. It's not my brand right now.
Has your community ever said something to you like, we didn't like this, don't do that?
Probably. Those guys always have opinions.
Those comments can be great or brutal.
They're so mean, those people. No, I think there have been some. I can't think now. I'm always on to the next one. But no, for sure I've been taken down a peg.
Because they feel like they know you and they have a commitment to you and they believe that you have a commitment to them, which is key.
Those are my girls.
Just like your team, people trust you. So have you ever felt like you were not trusted or you had to be something that you weren't and you had to fight against that as a spokesperson?
I think it was maybe in the beginning of my career because it is like as an athlete in a sport that isn't known, I'm not making any money. So when you get a deal in at the start, you're like, oh my gosh, this could really help me. Like, oh, I don't really use this product, but this could be something that could be this, you know, $5,000, whatever it is, $2,000. Oh, this is big money. So I think that at the start of my career, I definitely wasn't as picky as I should have been. And I think now I've kind of learned that. I mean, I've gotten to a place also where I'm maybe in a way privileged enough to know, like, okay, I'll get another deal coming. But I feel for them. My teammates, other athletes, rugby players, like, we want deals, we want sponsorships. So when it comes to us, sometimes we take it. And I do want more brands to go to the smaller athletes who are, like, you know, still building, because I think that they also have a story to tell and are sometimes forgotten about.
You never make a mistake investing in good talent.
Never.
I mean, that's the thing.
It's a fact.
So I work with a company called Traackr, and Traackr is a partner with L'Oreal, and what they do is they help brands find creators who already love the brands and are legit and have more context than just follower count. Are you still trying to get brands to see that it's more than follower count, that it's about the quality of your content, or are they leaving you alone and letting you just do your thing now?
I would say both. I think that brands are also kind of seeing that it's not just about that people, the smallest creator is creating such amazing stuff for them, and that they can also be very useful in promoting a product. So I think that it's a mixture of it. Thankfully, I've really worked on that follower game, you know, so I have to work on it as much. But it's definitely about that quality of content, of showing your voice. I think brands should take awareness of, because there's so many creators that are putting stuff out there. It might not land yet, but it's going to.
Yeah, you get them on the upswing.
Yeah.
You get them on the upswing. Well, Ilona, this has been a bucket list. I got a photo with you, so I get cool mom credit. I've got lipstick. And now I get to introduce the next part of the panel, which I'm very excited to say. So coming up next, we have an incredible group joining Ilona on stage. We have the amazing Paul Rabel, who's the founder of the Premier Lacrosse League. Amazing. Yeah. We also have Ariana Parasco, who's VP of Brand and Consumer Engagement at L'Oreal, Maybelline.
Wow.
And this is going to be moderated by the one and only Lisa Rosenberg, who is the Global President of Consumer Brands at Allison Worldwide.
Thank
Hello, hello. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. You already had the opportunity to meet Ilona, and now you'll have a chance to get to know Paul and Ariana. And we're just going to dive right in to what is going to be a fantastic discussion around creator partnerships. So when you look at the landscape of sport today, it's no longer just influencing culture. It is culture. We live in a world where athletes are influencers, fans are creators, and brands are broadcasters, and sport is the medium that connects them all. And today's most impactful brand moments are co-created with voices that actually shape culture. So I am super excited to dive right in. We're going to start by talking about authenticity. Authenticity in sport is about athletes being true to themselves. We heard a little of that already from Ilona. Both on and off the field, fostering an environment where everyone, brands included, can embrace their true selves. Cultural impact doesn't come from performance, it comes from living your truth. Ariana, I want to start with you. We've seen this come to life through Maybelline's partnerships with Ilona and with Paul and the naming rights for the Women's Lacrosse League. So I'd love it if you could, peel back the onion, so to speak, and share a bit about L'Oreal's strategy when it comes to women's sports and how Paul and Ilona have really helped drive that forward.
Happy to. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Hope everyone's surviving in the heat. I'm Ariana Parasco. I lead brand and consumer engagement for the group. So a little context setting, L'Oreal Group, biggest beauty conglomerate in the world. We own 38 very diverse brands within the portfolio. So, this year especially, we thought it's really important that it's time, we unite the group underneath an umbrella, really, and a mission that can flex and be, high enough, broad enough, where all brands that are just so different within the portfolio can aspire to and relate to, yet have the freedom to express their brand values and ethos, as they see fit. So, our mission at the end of the day is really to help athletes and fans of sport look and feel their best. And especially on the athlete side, because we have so many performant products really across every category within beauty. Yep. Superstay Matte Ink, Ilona's fave. We both got it on. It's going to last all day and all night. What?
Where's mine?
Yeah, wear it.
Oh, you need some Pioneer, Paul. Come on. So, we felt that helping an athlete feel their best on the field and look how they want to look and really have that self-expression is going to ultimately help them perform better. So that's really our mission. And with Maybelline, when you drill it down to the brand level, for us it's really about value alignment between the athlete, the league, brand, and Ilona and Paul are just two multi-hyphenate powerhouses, I would say. And the value there and the value exchange there for Maybelline is, they have this platform, work hard, play hard, make change, and it's really aligned with what they're both about. And this is, important to our brand, important to our group, and we're really proud to, have this partnership with both of them.
Super. Thanks, Ari. Ilona, from an athlete perspective, you move so gracefully between the pitch, the ballroom, the runway, the influencer world. I'd love it if you could share with everyone how you've been able to build a personal brand that really defies stereotypes. And then if you could talk a little bit about what having the support from brands like L'Oreal and Maybelline means to you.
I think my brand, as like I was saying, is I wanted it to be so much more because I think maybe in a business sense, I was like, well, if I can get into beauty, there's brands to use there. If I can get into body positivity and all sorts of stuff. So again, I felt like I was always a very multifaceted person. I love makeup. I love looking good. So I wanted to show that for people. Again, not just being a female athlete put into a box. I think my brand also is been very successful with I have my manager, my agent. Raise your hand, ladies. There they are. So pretty. But they are really the ones who also help my brand to grow and can make sure that I'm doing really partnerships that help with that. And then in terms of Maybelline, I wore Maybelline in 2022. I posted a video saying that people were asking me what lipstick I wore, and I was like, oh, it's this Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink. And then Maybelline being the brand they were like, let's put some money behind it. And I was like, this is really nice. I was like, this is good stuff. And so to have built with them into a product that I used before being paid, before anything like that, I love that they're supporting me because while I'm on the field doing my job, they see that, okay, she's rocking our product very authentically, and it's a great product. If you're gonna go play rugby or any sport, highly suggest.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you posted Maybelline sponsor me, and we saw that on the brand side, and we were like, you know, look at this woman who is so confident in everything she does, breaking boundaries in the sport of rugby. Like, hell yeah, we're gonna get behind her. So again, it's been a multi-year partnership, and it's only grown in how we activate together, and we want to make sure we're leaning in and supporting all your big moments, and you do the same for us. So we love it.
And honesty is authenticity and transparency. So when I hear that, that's what strikes me as part of the puzzle of what makes authenticity so powerful.
Excellent, excellent. Let's switch gears for a minute and talk a little bit about the concept of athlete creators. There's so much more than spokespeople for brands. And Paul, you've changed the game when it comes to the direct creator brand integration game. How have you leveraged your following to open new revenue streams? And what can other emerging leagues learn from what you've accomplished with the PLL?
There's a lot in that, so I'll try to think about how to say it in a concise way. As a professional lacrosse player that was drafted to a league that didn't have distribution in 2008, when Facebook launched their fan pages, and it was really only cat videos on YouTube, and this was pre-Twitter and Instagram, I jumped on Facebook fan pages and started talking about the game of lacrosse, and I built an audience that was larger than what tuned in to my game on ESPN, which was my senior year playing in the Final Four. So this light bulb happened that this was going to be the new form of communication. I was always an early adopter as a result. But that means I taught myself how to use a DSLR. I taught myself how to edit on Premiere. I was cutting videos for all of the platforms, and I was building relationships with the audience. That's part one. Authenticity is so important. I kind of liken it to relationships. And by the way, by a show of hands, who feels like they're their authentic self? Yeah, it's okay to like kind of have halfway, because it's a process, isn't it? So I've learned that there's this Jim Rohn quote. It's, I'm going to work on me for you if you work on you for me. The way to bring authenticity out is to first do self-work. And the way to build a great relationship, romantically or in partnership or platonically, is to work on yourself first. And then once you're doing that, what becomes cool is your passion. So I fucking love lacrosse. I love it. I play it all the time, and I consume it. I watch the next generation playing. I watch the men's and the women's game. And the last piece is I get outside of lacrosse. I travel the world. I spend time learning about brands and media, and that also enables, I think, the next piece of everyone in this room who are movers and shakers in their own right to go do cool shit, because you've got to get outside of your game. So marry the game first and then get outside of it. And that's how you build good partnerships. And when you take a risk and start something new like the Women's Lacrosse League, and you have someone who also played lacrosse like Ariana, and I had been sort of knocking on Ari's door, and she slams it shut and shut and shut. But that's part of the process. That's also part of the process. The good thing about athletes is we take critical feedback, right? And the PLL wasn't the right fit. The WLL was. And then once you get that partnership together, and she came in as an entitlement through Maybelline New York, which gave the women validation. They went and said, oh, fuck, like this is a brand that I've used my whole life, like Ilona said. I even watched it, right? Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. You know, and that actually was done in an OG concept. But to this day, the stories that I hear from our women's pros is like, that's the shit they were up against. They were like, no. Like, I was born with this, and I've been working my ass off, and I haven't had the same opportunity, right? And so when you can marry the messages and the products that they're already using on field, it's just heaven.
Yeah, and just give them a moment to really feel seen. I mean, we were there, did their glam for the launch of the league, and they were so appreciative. And again, it's like, let me help you step into your power and really feel like the pro athlete that you are and you deserve to be. So it's been really special to watch these women, on that journey this year.
That's great. It sounds like both Ilona and Paul, you've had such an authentic relationship with Maybelline and L'Oreal. I'm sort of curious, are there boundaries or principles that you subscribe to that help you navigate as you're looking at other partners? How do you balance showing up for your audience versus showing up for a brand?
Are you asking me or Ilona?
Ilona and Paul, but you are welcome to jump in.
Okay. I think that you got to get to know your audience pretty well and know what you're about as well, and know what your values are. I mean, there's a lot of money in different things. There's a lot of money in, I don't even know what I can say, but like in weight loss supplements and stuff like that. I saw slimming lollipops recently, like I'm not using that, and I'm not putting that out to my audience to use. So like, I think that knowing what my values are and what my brand is, and also what my audience is girls like me, are women like me, and I know, if I know what I like, I'm gonna know what they like. And so I think it's important for me to, no matter the paycheck, no matter what it is, like I don't ever want to sell something that I wouldn't use or that goes against what I believe. And I think it's worked for me, and that's again why I have such two people on my team who like tell me and are really, at the forefront of that.
Yeah, I think that's really well said, and probably why Cannes has been taken over by creators and emerging properties. And let me just preface by saying the commissioners of the big four leagues, they're brilliant. They have great people who work for those platforms. They also have huge tonnage and scale. So you almost have to resist or know going into it that you're getting impressions. You might be getting some engagement, but it's hard to cut through. You have brilliant businesses, but it's hard to cut through. You know when you're working with an emerging property or a creator that you are going to cut directly through the noise, because a good creator, a great athlete, an emerging brand ain't gonna work with a partner that doesn't align with their values. So you sit down and you first ask questions. What's important to your business? What are the KPIs, right? What are the brand values? You tell the same story on your end. And when we walk away with in the PLL and the WLL is every partner that we work with has to feel endemic. For us as athletes, the first endemic players were like the cleats we were wearing, our jerseys, helmet, glove sponsor, stick in my case. Now endemic to us are the airlines we travel on, the hotels we stay at, the platforms that we acquire our URLs from, and we tell that story. Our athletes sign their contracts using DocuSign. Our athletes get equity in the league. We use Carta. Everything's endemic to an emerging platform that actually cares about their stuff and wants to tell that story. So it may not be for every partner here, but for those that are, it's super valuable. And that's what made Maybelline New York as our entitlement partner. So they brought the WL to the market. And in our 2-week tournament, we got over 250 million impressions. Because people go, holy shit, how did you convince Ari to do that? I was like, she played lacrosse and she knows lacrosse. No, but you have to be tough. That's what brings, like good friction creates the best value in return.
That's great. I want to switch gears, Ari, and turn to you. As a marketer, you've created campaigns that reflect cultural movements. But how do you approach creative partnerships where you're co-creating versus controlling the brand's storytelling? And how do you ensure that the brand's purpose does shine through?
Yeah, I mean, L'Oreal, I think, is in the top 5 largest advertisers in the world. So our strategy has had to shift pretty dramatically, away from our traditional spokes and product messaging and really hammering the consumer over the head with product and innovation-based messaging to how are we really putting authenticity and connection and honestly culture marketing at the forefront of everything we're doing now. So, those principles have to ring true across every partnership we forge, whether it be creator, athlete, league, music, entertainment, whatever it may be. So, we lead with those values of authenticity and connection, and I only see us moving more into that space. And with that means treating our creators and our partners like co-pilots and strategists versus just dictating a list of deliverables to get done and, mention the brand. So,
think it gives you much better results, much stronger. So that's awesome. We're going to wrap things up with a question that I'd like each of you to answer. There's a lot going on in the world of sport, a lot of things going on in the world of creator partnerships. I'd like to hear, what you think is next as an athlete and a creator on the road to LA 28, as a marketer scaling creator investment, and as a founder leveraging players and partnerships to move culture forward. So, Paul, why don't we start with you?
Sure. I think it's the continued avenue of storytelling. There's an inverse effect happening right now where the majority of consumption is short form, and short form storytelling is free. And then there's the minority of consumption that's long form, the stuff that is artistic, that helps us grow and evolve and feel emotions. And that costs money. And so there's this imbalance. But we have to continue to tell the long form spiritual stories, the stories about Ilona, the stories about the women of the WLL. And that welcomes you in the end to something you can feel connected to, that you remember. Right? There's content that causes an element of surprise or maybe humor in the moment, and then it's forgotten, and there's content that's remembered. And so if you think about sport, we have the best form of live entertainment and the best form of original programming, and that once that game starts, no script writer, no owner knows how it's going to end. So you stick around and you watch the whole thing, and that's why it's a great place for advertisers. And then you have this scripted and unscripted space where you can tell all those supporting stories. We have to continue to do that. And yes, AI, and yes, of course, lacrosse being back in the Olympics is going to be amazing. But remember, the stories and the long form, the pure stories are going to continue to drive us as a culture of people.
Super. And Ari, what do you think?
I mean, on the brand side, I would mirror the same sentiment. Obviously, we're all immersed in this world of AI and tech automation, and it feels like this, personal connection is seemingly getting lost in a lot of what we do. But, especially within the world of sport, those human interest stories are just so powerful and so inspiring. And on the way to LA 28, we want to partner up and really tell that and share that. And again, find those authentic alignments and connections. So, I think that will always remain, even if AI is seemingly taking over the world. And, I think for us, it's just how do we keep the athlete as the center and the focus of all that we do and really maintain that proximity. So, that's what we're doing on the way to LA 28.
Okay, I had to keep the question in the front of my mind. So in the short term, just to plug it a little bit, we have a Women's World Cup for rugby coming up in England.
Woohoo!
So that'll be big. And then I'm actually filming I'm plugging myself. Classic. I have a docu-series coming out, Follow Me Through the World Cup. And then in terms of next larger goals, it's can I do it so that all the knowledge I've gained through, what I've done, I think is kind of hasn't been seen in rugby, really share it with the other players, which I am, and I think we're seeing moves about it. But I'd also love to get into bigger things. Is it, helping with investing in a league like this and whatnot? So there's so much more I want to do, and I like to think, yes, I'm a creator, but I want to be bigger than that. And I got a lot of things cooking for sure.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I want to thank you all. Our time actually went super fast, but it was great, and thank you all for joining us, and a special thank you to Stagwell and the Sport Beach team for giving us this platform to have such a great conversation around creators.
Thank
so
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.